we have our Monday footage to go over. I unfortunately couldn't be there, so I have no idea what we're getting into here, but I'm sure you guys will not disappoint. So we got Ben and Jordan kicking it off, and we're gonna keep with what I did on the last one to speed this up a little bit so I could go do my fatherly duties. Hello, Josh. All right, Mike and Joe. I think they have a bang around from what I heard. Ben looking to get chest to chest here. Dealing with Jordan's frames. Had that grip over the head, which he loves to use to set up his sweep. And then who do we got down there with Max? I think that's Andrew. Max looking to use a standing guard break. Andrew catches him though. Neither one of them taking the top position right away. I like Joe's connection that he had a second ago. He had that head to the far shoulder trying to pin Mike down as he was looking to pass. Joe definitely hasn't lost any speed on his footwork. Andrew looking to set up an Arimi Ashi. So let's see if he can break Max down from here. He's being a little courteous. He's got a loose grip on the ankle. Looks like Max is doing well to get around the knee. He was doing his best to prevent Andrew from connecting his legs and working that standard Ashi sweep or sit down, whatever you want to call it. Mike is staying glued to Joe here. Joe gets into a really deep leg drag. Let's see if he can break Mike down. I like the thought. He just needs to get this just as if it's easy. Trying to get that leg, that hook in. She could have done a second ago, I think a little bit more effectively if he drags that leg out. Yeah, I mean, he had the knee in. Lots you could do from that turtle position. I mean, I would even try like rolling, front rolling from here, trying to tuck Mike's head underneath him and get the roll initiated. But really forcing that right knee in may have been his best bet. So he's kind of working it there. He's got to use that hook to pull Mike over this way though. Damn. Gets a strangle. Nobody strangles Mike that easily. Bruh. Looked like he just sneaks in the arm. And Mike was not ready for it. Very nice. This Mundi, yeah. Been just chilling. On you. Caleb getting fancy, hitting a ninja roll on Ethan, I believe. But stopping halfway to the calf slicer. All right. Okay. It's like, what the hell is that? Got some inverting here from Andrew. Max needs to slip that knee. He's hanging out a little too long there. Sumo roll. Josh, how many steps are you at today? Mike coming after Joe with a vengeance. Getting around that knee. Settling in for the guard pass. Trying to get to north-south, but time expires. And it's Sophie over there. Man, did everybody just go home after class? Bunch of pansies, except for the people on screen, of course. Arm drag attempt from Max, but he's got a lot of distance on Jordan, so they end up in the spin cycle. I mean, just notice. So let's see. Call this 1, 2 and a half. 38.44. I mean, it's not bad. It's not great, I guess. It's probably about 3,000 more than I did. Andrew trying to pass with the threat of a submission. So he's got this guillotine set up. Likely not going to finish the guillotine. Mike comes up on the underhook, kind of to the dogfight position. Kneeling Uchimata attempt from Andrew to get the breakdown. Interesting. That was cool. I don't think I've seen that. Takes him the other way. So off the underhook, dude. I mean, this is like Caleb's takedown from standing, right? The kind of like the lateral drop over under, except no under on this one. I think he just goes to the collar tie, yeah, and then sits through on that. That was sneaky, man. I bet Mike was impressed with that too. That's just, I feel like that's just not something you see from the coming out of the dogfight position. Mostly because I'd say it's high risk. Like Andrew did, he exposes his back to the mat. If Mike doesn't roll through, then Andrew's kind of screwed. But he really committed and sent it. That was nice. Where is Cole? I don't know, dude. He's probably out walking somewhere, getting steps. Joe getting ragdolled. Kind of put himself there, running to north-south like that with his head under control, and a hand on the hip. Like that's what happens. That's what happens, Joe. He can't get his head high. His hips are high. He's just giving Caleb this sweep. Jordan with his own. Sophie over here on Ben's leg and outside Ashi. And you got Andrew on a triangle here. Mike breaks out from the guard pass. And not much of a triangle. I see his foot gets caught here. So he's got that leg over the back. This is pretty much just Mike's biding his time to pass like he does. Oops, wrong way. Yeah, it must be because mine is perfect as usual. Get that fiber, bro. You need to take some Metamucil to your wireless router. Mike looking for a Darce maybe? And Caleb on the smother. Sorry, we're zooming ahead. So got to be really careful with that leg hanging back when you're in side control. It's not, it wouldn't take much for Jordan to kind of reverse shrimp out of here. So send his butt this way, put his hips and chest pointing towards Max and sneak that right knee underneath because there's this big old gap right there underneath Max's right leg. So you're not going to see too many guys at the high level like extending their legs back when they're in a top side control. So something to keep in mind when you're pinning from there, thinking about advancing. You don't want to get caught making too much space. Andrew fighting for his life to get up. Caleb fighting for a Katagatame. Or a head and arm if you're Josh. Oh, nice movement from Jordan here. Let's look at this. With Jordan from, again, kind of doing what I'm saying not to do. At least his hips are pointing towards a a case of position. Fighting to get that leg free. Quick hop over to mount. So Caleb finished that. Yes, he did. And Jordan goes on to start Katagatame. Max gives it to him. What's the joke, Josh? I missed it and I'm tired. Max talking smack like he just got the takedown. But technically, that is not takedown points, Maximus, because you did not make a connection with Joe as he sat. And this is not New Breed. But it could be a penalty to Joe, depending on the rule set. He said wrist got caught before the cat. Katagatame. I actually like that a lot better. Sophie takes a shot, trying to run down a single leg. Cut back the other direction, but Jordan has her hips under control. Goes for the reach. I don't think she could pull out of this one. Joe playing this low knee shield half guard. Max gets out. Jordan coming out of the sprawl to work a back take here. Let's see if he can keep Sophie under control. She's super sneaky from that position. And Joe with the triangle. Yeah, I mean, Max has no one to blame but himself here. Hanging out a little too low. I know Joe's got that 2-on-1 grip. Yeah, just getting caught with his posture down. It's the lesson. There we go. Sophie gets out here. So steps over, hips out, classic back escape. Jordan trying to recollect at least to mount, but lands the top half guard chest to chest. Good if you want to pass. She may have an opportunity to at least like open up some space to get a better guard in with that hook that she has and with a well-timed turn. Can't tell if they're discussing something or if Jordan's just trying to make her suffer a little bit with his stinky breath and his rough scalp and his heavy body weight. Andrew. Look at here, so on the Americana, or I'm sorry, the Anaconda. But Caleb rolls up, gets on her. Oh, let's crush your face. Women and children, those are the only people you torture, right? That's your one rule. Women and children only. She's caught in mounts. What does Caleb get here? Caleb maybe gets a wrist lock, I think. Yeah, didn't really see an Americana there, so we're gonna go with a wrist lock. All right, Ben making his way to mount here. Oh, Joe onto a rear triangle, but with an attack on the shoulder. Let's look at this. So sits to the back take and notices he gets the leg up really high. He doesn't go low here for the hook or for the body triangle. He goes up high over the shoulder, and he has this 2-on-1 grip on Max's left wrist as soon as he gets that broken out, see how he keeps the elbow of Max's left arm up over the shoulder line, right? That's where you want it to be for basically everything you do from here. A rear triangle, an Americana, a Kimura. It's all got to be like up, and then you can get all those twists on that arm from that position. From here, it honestly just looks like really hyperextending the shoulder. I mean, maybe it's not even really close to an Americana in the traditional sense, but my shoulder's hurting looking at it. So I'm gonna give Joe his flowers on that one. That was nice work from the rear triangle. It looks like Sophie gets caught in an Ezekiel from the close guard. Jordan, what a jerk. Probably just scratching her face up too much with your scalp. Moving right along. As always, tell me if I skip something or I miss something, please. Round ends. Everybody's good. Alright, Mike doing Mike stuff over there with Caleb. Kind of want to see if he gets the sweep on him. Doesn't look like it though. What, is this back week? Or did we start over? Or I'm sorry, are we on the legs? I should have updated that in the beginning. Andrew onto Sophie's back now. Still back? Josh, you're silly. A little knee on face from Joseph. And working that transition to mount that he's somehow managed to perfect from north-south. Moves around very quickly from there. Covers 180 degrees. Faster than anybody I train with. Got you. Ben and Max just restart. Okay. Mike getting ground into the wall over here with some pressure. You can't be that fast when you're carrying the boats, Josh. Sophie kind of has the makings of a lat armbar here. I mean, I know Andrew's got... Oh, man. If she could have gotten that left leg over the face, I feel like she may have had an opportunity. Mike gets on top, huh? Get in here. Let's see how he does this. I think he's got double overhooks. Yeah. That would, I think that would make Cole proud. Back when Cole used to train, this was his move all the time. Double overhook sweep with the butterfly hook. Pressuring off that bottom leg. That is a tall order to hit on Caleb. That's a good one. That's a good one, Jordan. Max getting his diaper changed here. There we go. Around the corner from that double underpass. Max almost gets the leg in. But Ben ain't going to let that happen. Moves to north-south and closes down that space with his shoulder. Oh, Max is doing some good framing here, but Ben makes some quick adjustments and is able to get around those legs. Can he keep this position, though? I feel like he's just grinding away at that space. Yeah. Jordan, what are you letting Joe do to you? Mike really trying to avoid getting caught in Caleb's guard. He was playing his classic game of moving to north-south at the first threat of legs coming into the picture. Caleb gets him off balance. Mike quick to shut down Caleb's turtle. I like this. I like this. Got to extend your body there, Joe. Like, plant your hand and then move your head in this direction. Straighten your arm out and then gobble up the space as you make it. Straighten your arm up. Take up more space. Good adjustment from Jordan, though. Looks like Ben... I don't know what that was. I guess an Americana. But I didn't see too much lift on the arm. Caleb and Mike having a good scramble over there. Joe's taking out some anger, man. Come on, Jordan, don't get caught in this. There we go. All right, that was a good sweep. Sophie and Andrew over there. Andrew onto the back. Yeah, well-timed sweep, Jordan. Joe takes it away from you right at the end. I'm sure Joe was happy to be back on the mats and eager to have some scrambly rounds. Ethan hanging out too long here. Great triangle entry from Andrew. Classic front triangle. Just a simple push-pull, and then now working up to a mount. Nice. Joe and Ben over there. Sophie and Caleb. Sophie, brave. Going, taking a shot on Caleb. Possibly the biggest weight differential. Actually, definitely. I think. I don't know if Ethan or... I feel like Sophie weighs less than Ethan. I mean, I'm scared to shoot on Caleb, so props to her. Although her shots are far better than mine. Got a nice trip from Ben here, I think. So as Mike gets in... Let's look at this again. I think Ben slips his right leg behind Mike. Maybe? No, he's stepping in. I guess just catching Mike kind of off balance. Like Mike is sat, he's kind of sat his hips behind his feet here. Right here, he's prone to falling backwards. Right, all like his big old tanker tush is behind his heels, so that's gonna be hard to stay upright. And Ben drives through him. It looks like takes that big inside step. Maybe Mike tries to get the turn here, but he doesn't have a hook on the inside to keep the turn going. Ben winning that scramble back up. I thought that was a little bit more trip from Ben, but I guess not. Also, not Mike the whole time. That was not Mike. That was Joe. Mike over here heel hooking children. Or straight ankle with an inverted grip. This is a good example of a cross ashigarami where Mike attacks the secondary leg. So right there, he scoops up the straight ankle grip on Max. But then here, he switches to that reverse grip where the arm that's cranking on the Achilles is actually the left arm attacking Max's left leg, which I think is the superior grip in the cross ashigarami for sure. Mike using that arm drag to come up on a single leg. be trying not to get her knee broke here. Caleb sits into cross ashi. And let's see if he does a similar thing. So he's got the heel exposed. I hope her short legs are giving him a lot of trouble. Make me very happy. And he goes cloverleaf. Or the leg lace or whatever you want to call it. She's like, all right, let's get back to it. I like her intentions here with trying to control the ankles. Right here, she gets a hand on the ankle, but she guides it into a position that doesn't work for her. Right? She puts it in between the legs, right? Effectively giving Caleb at least a single leg inside position, right? 2 legs inside is really great for him. But now, you know, look what he does. He uses it as a butterfly to get her off balance and maybe come up on a sweep, maybe come up on a leg lock. I don't know. I would try keeping those legs on the outside. Maybe cross it over your center line instead of putting it between your own knees. Might be a better use of that connection. Been laying on that pressure from top half guards. Joe works not really a lockdown, but Caleb moving to side control. It looks like Mike is letting Max learn the ins and outs of proper leg lock defense here. Because Mike has heel exposure all day on this, right? So big reap over the hip, gets that heel fully exposed. Mike could send if he wants. Notice he's also not being too heavy, and this is something I'm happy to see when you guys do. Of course, Mike's going to do it. You know, Max is learning, right? He's getting used to this position. If Mike really drives this knee down, he knows that he could possibly injure Max here, right? Like it's a lot of pressure on the knee. This is a reap, right? So as he feels Max coming back in this direction, he's definitely letting up on this. If it was me, he'd be driving that knee into the ground, not letting me turn at all. If I did turn, he'd blow my knee apart. So let Max get to a standing position, unlock those legs, and get familiar with some basic defensive principles. Just seemingly putting him down at will. Andrew, meanwhile, on his own cross ashi, turns the corner to a knee bar. Knee's kind of out, but I think he gets enough pressure on it. On to the next round. We got Ben and Mike, Joseph and Andrew. Ben putting a lot of heavy pressure on Mike's top knee shield. Not seeing much passing yet. There we go. Mike looking for that underhook. He gets the head and the arm in on this underhook shoulder crunch position. Setting up that overhook on the right side. This is where Ben is very good at hip switching, like raising his hips high, almost jumping over to the side of those knees, maybe shoving them by, maybe just hitting a hip switch, but getting around them very, very well. Again, like, I feel like all you guys have moves that you do well that are like, it's like the one thing you do better than everybody else at the school, and that's timing those butterfly, like the forward shifts that you would do with your butterfly hooks and all that. Ben has that down and totally shuts it down on me whenever I do it. Joe over here in the dorsal Kimura position, setting up to this head scissor. Does he? Yeah, nice. Cool. This is a great example of how I think this is the most useful position. If you don't have a side triangle, right? If this leg doesn't have an arm captured, the head scissor sucks, but it's not always going to make people tap, and it may not even make people go unconscious, right? Like, you got to have a lot of things fall into place, and it's hard to adjust somebody's head if they turn the right way with your legs. That's the only connection you have to them, at the head at least. But if you can get them to address the discomfort by opening up their hands here. So Andrew unlocks his grip here, right there, to try to get to try to unlock the legs. This is a great time for Joe to do what he does, which is finish the Kimura. Alternatively, he could try to capture this arm now and work to a side triangle. Not always easy, especially with a strong guy, but he's got a 2-on-1 grip on this arm, so he can open that scissor, come over the top. He has the head and the shoulders now under control, the hand flat on the mat, knuckles essentially behind the back. We're in the end game of a Kimura here, so he just needs to kind of turn to his right in this case. There you see him pull it up, and he gets it. That's how I really like to see that head scissor play out. Other times, like, if it sucks and you gotta tap, you gotta tap. But that's... Sorry, getting distracted by my ungrateful students who aren't even on the stream anymore. Oop. Andrew tries to jump to mount, but Joe shuts it down and gets across Ashi here, or kind of a reverse Ashi. Man, he had a good opportunity there. I would just, like, don't push this leg away. Pull it towards you. Like, you're essentially in cross Ashi. Just set up to where you have double trouble, right? Get that left leg under control. Might be a little late on it now. Great job from Andrew though, coming up and he fights it off good. Oh, Ben with the cartwheel pass. Almost. Mike gets him back into half guard. Ooh, Andrew with a Darce. Damn, curls that right in with a quickness. And then now, yeah, that's tough. So, killer work, Andrew. From Joe trying to set up cross Ashi too. This is really great. This is like my worst fear. Going for the inversion. I think like Luke's caught me here. Danny's probably caught me here. Joe is in. He has the cross Ashi leg entanglement, but none of the control. So now Andrew gets to set up his Darce. And this is such a hard spot to dig out of because ideally, when you're in a Darce, you want to get your chest and your opponent's chest pointing in the same direction. So Andrew's chest pointing down to the mat, Joe's pointing up to the ceiling. That's bad news, right? So Joe wants to kind of roll up to turtle in this position, try to start hand fighting out of it. It's going to be really, really hard if Andrew has an effective grip at this point. But then now Andrew again makes this switch where his chest is pointing towards Joe. Locks up those legs, sets the crunch on. That was nice, man. Does Mike finally get the sweep here? Nice. God, that was good. So over under this time. I believe he's got an underhook there. Gets the elevation. And then now, Mike says, cool, go ahead and fight back against this. Try to hop back around me. I'll just set up the cross Ashi. And he comes up with that leg under control. So he leaves. He no longer has the underhook in, right? The underhook that was on this side at the beginning. And he could go in to grab this leg as he leaves behind that over-under position. Sits up on it. Very nice. That's a really great alternative outcome to that sweep. And probably makes sense for somebody as agile as Ben, who's not easily swept over, who jumps around your guard. Goes on with Andrew and Joe here. So Andrew goes for a sweep. Joe's trying to attack a leg. He's in outside Ashi. Andrew throws on a counter straight ankle here. I think Joe gets the tap though. With the heel hook, yeah. Yeah, I would tap. I would tap to that. Ben gives up his back. Mike's kind of to the rear crucifix. A little, well, not really. He had the arm in an odd position. He's able to secure the back there. Max with Caleb and Keisugatame. Looks like Jordan maybe trying to knee cut unsuccessfully though. Mike goes ninja roll. Sophie kind of sort of shuts it down. Ends up giving up the sweep though. Just doesn't get her back taken. So a slightly more positive outcome for her. Andrew laying on some heavy pressure across the shoulder on Jordan, but not enough to like turn him over. Oh, it's Sophie on the back now. Nice. Just be careful about that. That's bad news. Even though Mike might have a little bit of trouble getting there with your shorter legs. Take it from someone also with short legs. You will get caught. Joe Baker caught me with that just a couple weeks ago, actually. Andrew onto the straight ankle, but Jordan unfazed. Caleb can use this underhook to come up from this bottom. It's not even in half guard now. It's just regular old bottom. Nice, Sophie with the north-south strangle. I think, yeah, just a regular, no arm in, settling in, walking it down. Sliding down Mike's chest under the chin. Hell yeah. Gotta be careful there. Just kind of, Sophie's like loading herself up onto Mike's hook, and that gives Mike the opportunity to move her wherever he wants to go, right? To open up legs, to look for sweep opportunities. Better to have a more, I don't know, established connection with the ground than to jump on your opponent and ride like that. Unless you're working like some float passing, but she was not in a position to utilize that. Andrew still caught in the half guard. All right, end of the round. No fireworks at the end of this one. Y'all be letting Mike do this too much. I mean, he's on the slowest arm drag ever. Just about to take your back, dude. I mean, I know I was disappointed with only having 4.5 groups here on a Monday night, but every one of you stayed. Letting him work, right? I need you guys to stop letting Mike work. Don't let him get better at technique. Oh, Caleb? I thought he could come up from that. So Caleb looking to shut down the standing guard break with little hybrid of techniques here. So he's got the underhook, the deep like elbow, scoop grip on the leg. Typically what you want to look for with the headstand sweep. But he can't quite get to the headstand with this grip on Bin's wrist. Okay, goes over, tries to pull the leg out. Just about gets up. I think he opened his legs though. Which allowed Bin to kind of back out, create space, get up. Happens with Max. Some weird leg entanglement. Maybe a cramp. Yeah, cramping. Mike being let work all the way around Jordan's guard. Working a steady north-south. Jordan gets enough space created though. Okay. I see you, bud. Didn't quite get your guard back, though. Black belt just means he's done this for a while. Doesn't mean he's good. I mean, Joe Baker submitted him earlier, dude. This little, I mean, not quite a scramble, but I mean, I guess you could call it a scramble. So Andrew setting up on Max with this arm drag. Gets the back exposed, goes to get up, and then this little roll from Max. Just enough to save a little bit of guard. He almost had his back taken there. Now he has mount taken. Could have been a bit more assertive with that defense, but he's back out. Ben getting caught. Nice armpit push from Andrew right at the end here. Andrew catches an opening and notices that Max's weight is across the hips, not up at the shoulder, not on a diagonal. That makes this really easy. He even gets a little bit of a pendulum in, right? Shows Max exactly what he's about to do with that. Says, whoop, now I'm sitting up. Gets the push. Very nice. And these two are probably about the same weight. I think Max said he's up around like 185 now, since he's all cock diesel, senior boy, putting on muscle, getting all strong, doing wrestling. Ben just punched him in the face with the shoulder. Andrew goes, okay. Not sure what he wanted to do there. He got a little too high, though. We've all been there, right? Aren't we all, man? ties from Bin. Oh, that put me on my back not 2 weeks ago. But Max ain't falling for that. Heavy snap from Bin. Again, looking for that foot sweep. Double collar ties. Briefly. Over tie from Max. Gotta put that to work, man. Like, don't just... You can't just put your hand up there and make a connection and not make use of it, you know? Oh, Max wanted that outside trip. It was a great little stand-up battle. Oh, Max gives up his back. Always got to be careful reaching over. This is like what I'll do with Danny a lot of times, where Danny loves to reach over the back, try to maybe set up a standing guillotine or something like that, or just a front headlock position that he could sprawl down and put your hands to the mat with. But you get an opponent who can just duck under, keeps the head pinned to the back as he turns the corner, and your back's taken. Ah, Max keeps the hands apart though. He's wearing too much of Bin's weight. Damn, that was nice. Bin almost had that, like, really well timed. I like right here. This is all set up for the double leg. Just wear, or make your opponent wear the weight. When he pops up, shoot a double. Great sprawl from Max. Really great sprawl. Good answer from Bin to not let him get that hook in. God, I haven't even seen what's going on with Mike and Andrew. Mike's sitting Andrew down in an Arimiashi. Oh, I wonder if the wall was there, if that would have ended any differently. So Bin steps through with a bit of a hip toss. Gets the front headlock exposed. Looking for the 10-finger guillotine, which is... That's Bin's move. He's gotten Mike and I pretty deep in that before. Literally picks up Max. And then Max just falls to the ground out of it. That was nice. That was some fun stand-up. Show good sportsmanship from those two. Meanwhile, Caleb making Joe's life awful on his back over there. He's got the bottom side lock on the triangle, though. Which, more power to you. Not my preferred position. And I think Joe is probably trying to make that miserable, but maybe Caleb just doesn't care. All right. Joe coming at Mike with the fury for seemingly the last round here. Maybe one of these days Mike will start working stand-up again. I need to guilt him into that. Ah, Joe, that was too easy. Mike doing some... What is he trying to do here? Trying to get him behind, like... Joe's got that butterfly hook. He's got the left leg in, so Mike can't totally work a leg drag. And he's got to be mindful of the off-balancing here. I guess that's kind of a broad statement. You got to be mindful of that anywhere, but but he gets Joe turtled up, looking for an anaconda, I bet. Looking for the turn, goes for the seated head and arm instead. That looks, yeah, okay. That looked tight. So this is cool. We were going over this. Sweet dreams, Jordan. Thank you for hanging out, buddy. And for doing your hardest on the stream for the rest of us to watch. So, sorry, I keep going back and forth with this. It looks like Mike wants to hit the roll here, take Joe over in this direction. But what he's really doing is passing this elbow across his center line and making it easy for him to sit on Joe's right side, which is where he ends up finishing this move, right? So maybe he tries the roll, a little half-hearted maybe, like just to get Joe to react, and then now he's completely beside Joe, throws the leg over, and he's got this, he actually has that leg almost in. But this is just a seated Katagatame, which is a terrible spot to be caught. They're super tight. Back to a similar position they were in before. Mike riding that butterfly hook, keeping the heel pinned to the butt. And laying on some heavy pressure now. Joe can't really effectively frame Mike at the hips. I think that right arm is caught in this head and arm grip. Yeah, gets around that butterfly. Mike can settle in with that left elbow exposed too. Joe is unable to get that frame at Mike's hip. Mike riding in behind the legs now, which makes it very difficult for Joe to turn towards him to try to recover his guard. But a big move, and he does. All right. I was not expecting that. Back to it. I wonder what Joe's looking for from here. The other downside to this, if Joe's not really working on the plan, that leg could get kind of burnt out if you can't keep Mike off balance, moving him around, trying to elevate him with that hook, guide him into cross ashi or something like that. If he's just constantly trying to engage that leg against Mike's sagging weight, it can make that leg pretty ineffective later on. Fortunately, though, for him, the round expires right as Joe, or as Mike gets around the guard, and he survives. Jordan, thanks for hanging out. Yeah, to all those who made it on, I appreciate it. No, we had another. I know we had another quick stream tonight. Might have to keep that up for a little bit, just while my schedule is crazy. But as always, I appreciate you guys being here so much, and training so hard on the footage, giving us some stuff to look at. I hope I'm still giving you as much feedback as you like, and have grown used to. So, thank you for tuning in. If you're lurking and you're not following, hit that follow button. I always appreciate it. Hit subscribe as well if you like what you're seeing. That's always appreciated too. Best way to support the stream. And you can do so for free with your Twitch Prime. If you have an Amazon Prime, you can subscribe with your Twitch Prime. So do that if you can. Subscribe if you like what you're seeing. Subscribe at YouTube, where I'll put this up for you guys to review. If you saw something that you did that you like, maybe there's a critique that I gave that you want to remember later and you got to watch it again, it'll be over on YouTube for you if it expires on Twitch. So keep that in mind. What else? I think you guys are going to be finishing up the second week of back, if I remember correctly. So you got the rest of that this week to look forward to. Get to class tomorrow and Saturday. I'm sure Luke and Mike and Bertram and whoever else has been been coaching, going over some good back stuff. So go get your practice rounds in. And yeah, we'll keep it there. So thank you guys for tuning in. Go trim your nails and do your laundry. Do not be stinky. And I will see you sooner than later back on the mats. Take it easy.